In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the technical considerations for one of the more difficult shots in pool, that being shots where you're shooting over another ball. Perhaps the most important consideration when you're shooting over another ball is making sure that you have a center axis hit. Now what that means is you're hitting anywhere along the center part of the ball. You do not need or cannot have any left or right English. If you do, what's going to happen is the cue ball is going to masse or curve. And the longer the shot is, the more likely you're going to miss it if you have left or right English on the cue ball. Another consideration with shooting over another ball, or knowing the fact that it's not a good idea to use left or right English, you're going to sacrifice some cue ball control options for the sake of pocketing the object ball. Another consideration when you're shooting over another ball is that due to the fact that you have the cue elevated, especially if you strike the cue ball hard, and if you strike the cue ball at 45 degrees going through the center of the ball and you're following through nice and smooth, the cue ball is going to jump. You almost can't get around that, especially depending on the angle of the cue and the hardness of the hit. Aiming a shot where you're shooting over another ball is much more difficult than shooting a routine shot. It's analogous to shooting a pistol from your hip. Now, to show you the difference on a routine shot, you have your dominant eye over your cue, very close, and that allows you to align your cue, the cue ball, the object ball, and the pocket. So it's easy to align your shot. The best way to aim when you're shooting over another ball is the same way that a lot of guys aim when they hit a jump shot. What they do is they try to get a level alignment like they would if the obstructing ball wasn't there, or as close to it as you possibly can without touching that object ball, like so. And then once you're comfortable with your alignment, then you go to your elevated position. When shooting over another ball, the question comes up, what do you do with your grip? Is there anything differently you do with your grip? And the answer for me, what works best for me, is I'll leave my grip very loose, and I like to use a lot of very loose wrist action. I don't like a firm grip with a rigid wrist. You really have to experiment with it and see what's more comfortable for you. The first step in successfully shooting over another ball is establishing a very stable bridge hand. Now, everybody's hands are different. Everybody's manual dexterity is a little different. So you'll have to find a configuration that works best for you. And depending on the situation, especially if you're shooting in a cluster of balls, it might require you to do something a little different with your hand each time. Now, once you've established a stable bridge hand, you want to take your regular stroking technique and you want to shorten it. First thing being, you want to choke up on your cue stick a little more than you usually would. You also want to shorten your stroking motion, maybe entirely from backstroke to follow through 2 to 3 inches, depending on the elevation of your cue. The idea is the smaller the motion, the less chance you're going to make a mistake. Okay, now we're going to go through it from start to finish. I'm setting up my shot, I'm visualizing the shot. I'm setting up my bridge hand, making sure it's stable and still. Elevating the cue over the obstructing ball. Being very careful to get that center axis hit like I was talking about in the first part of the video. As you see, very short practice strokes, back pause, follow through, like so. The information that you've seen in this video and much, much more, you can find in a link I'm providing in the sidebar to the A to Z Billiards forum. Go to A to Z Billiards, read the thread on this topic. If there's a question that you have, or a comment that you would like to make, you can join the forum there and leave a comment on that thread. It'll bump it to the top, and it'll definitely stimulate some conversation. You can get some more answers to your questions. I'd like to also encourage you to join the forums at A to Z Billiards. There's a lot of pros, a lot of instructors, a lot of people that love the game that would be happy to answer any questions that you have regarding any topic on the world of billiards. Today I've had a lot of fun. I've been able to come in here and make the components for this video. I was able to take my daughter to the Museum of Fine Arts. We're going to have a good meal later on. I was able to talk to a good friend of mine, haven't heard from in a while earlier. So I have a lot of good things going on in my life. If you have similar pleasures in life, if life is good to you, make it over to St. Jude's Research Children's Hospital's website and leave a contribution. This will help them in their research and treatment of pediatric cancer. Give a kid a shot at having some of these experiences in life.